If discipline worked, you wouldn't be here. You already know what to do. Spend less. Save more. Be consistent. So why doesn't it work? Not sometimes. Not occasionally. Why does discipline fail over and over again? Even for intelligent, self-aware people? This video explains why trying harder is the mistake. Discipline feels infinite until it isn't. Discipline feels powerful because it feels permanent. You tell yourself, once I decide, that's it. But discipline isn't a personality trait. It's a fuel source. And every time you rely on it, to resist spending, to stick to a plan, to override stress, you burn it quietly until one day it's gone and you don't even remember spending it. Discipline is borrowed energy. Discipline feels powerful because it's dramatic. It feels like control. But discipline is not a system. It's a temporary override. Psychologically, discipline relies on one fragile resource: mental energy. And mental energy is finite. More choices don't make you free. They make discipline collapse. This is why discipline fails more often in adulthood. Not because you got weaker, but because your environment got louder. Every day you decide what to respond to, what to ignore, what to buy, what to delay. Your brain wasn't designed for constant decision-making. So by the time the financial decision arrives, the moment where restraint matters most, your willpower is already exhausted. And exhausted brains don't choose discipline. They choose relief. Every decision taxes your brain. Every choice you make, what to eat, what to buy, what to resist, quietly drains the same mental battery. So when you rely on discipline for money, you're spending willpower before the real decisions even arrive. This is why discipline works until it suddenly doesn't. And when it fails, people don't question the strategy. They question themselves. Stress doesn't break discipline. It reveals reality. Stress doesn't change who you are. It exposes which systems were real and which ones weren't. When life applies pressure, your brain prioritizes relief over logic. Under stress, comfort feels like survival. Under stress, comfort stops feeling optional. It feels urgent. That's why people overspend after hard days. Why budgets break during emotional weeks. Why discipline disappears exactly when life gets heavy. Your brain isn't thinking, "This is irresponsible." It's thinking, "This will make the pain stop." And pain relief is one of the strongest motivators your brain has. Under stress, your brain chooses comfort over progress. That's not weakness. That's biology. Under threat, your nervous system shifts control away from long-term planning and toward immediate emotional regulation, which means spending feels soothing, saving feels pointless, discipline feels exhausting. This is why financial setbacks feel personal, but aren't. You didn't fail. Your strategy was never designed for pressure. Shame feels like motivation. It isn't. When discipline fails, most people respond with shame. I should be better. I know better. I just need more self-control. Shame increases pressure, and pressure kills discipline. Shame feels productive because it's intense. But psychologically, shame narrows thinking. It reduces flexibility. It increases emotional spending. It makes relapse more likely, not less. This loop keeps people stuck for years. Discipline, failure, shame, stricter discipline. The loop feels responsible, but it quietly destroys progress. Hard work isn't always progress. Sometimes it's a loop. This is where burnout comes from. You're always trying, always restarting, always getting serious again. But effort without structure doesn't create progress. It creates motion. And motion without progress trains your brain to stop believing change is real. That's when people quit completely. Not because they don't want better, but because they don't trust it anymore. Willpower is the most expensive strategy. If wealth required discipline, most wealthy people wouldn't be wealthy. They don't fight temptation. They design it out. The wealthy don't rely on willpower. They rely on defaults. A default is powerful because it removes negotiation. If saving happens automatically, you don't decide. If spending requires friction, your brain pauses. And that pause is where better behavior lives. The difference between failure and success is often one small moment of resistance built into the system. The strongest people don't rely on strength. They remove decisions. They automate behavior. They structure environments where failure is inconvenient. Not impossible, just harder than success. You don't need more control. You need fewer choices. This isn't motivation. It's architecture. The goal isn't discipline, it's relief. When money systems work, they feel boring, unemotional, unremarkable. That's not failure. That's success. If your system needs motivation, it's already broken. Real change happens when progress doesn't depend on how you feel. When stress doesn't undo everything. When discipline becomes optional. Trying harder was never the solution. If this felt uncomfortably accurate, stay. Discipline didn't fail you. It was never meant to carry the weight alone.